Everything we heard about the iPhone 18 series was nothing compared to the new batch of rumors. The OnePlus 15 continues to prove its specs are some of the best this year. It seems the Galaxy S26 series might get a bit more Snapdragon love than we thought. And yes, it seems Apple's future Siri will have a lot of Google's Gemini behind it after all. I'm Jaime Rivera, and if you haven't subscribed to our podcast with Josh, would love to see you there as episode 2 is either live or about to be. For now, let's talk about these 4 interesting topics. This is Tech Briefing powered by MediaTek. Let's begin today with sort of official news, because you gotta love how OnePlus likes to announce its phones in a teaser after another. If you remember, the company launched the OnePlus 15 in China last month and is going official globally on November 13th. Obviously, with possible variations, it's hard to call the China version as what we're getting, so ahead of the international debut, the company has revealed more about what to expect. The device sports a 1.5K LTPO OLED display with 165Hz refresh rate, making it the first of its kind in the industry. If you were not to consider some of the gaming phones out there, though technologies can vary. OnePlus claims this combination offers unmatched fluidity and clarity. We then get other certifications for eye comfort and gaming comfort modes to help reduce eye strain during extended use. Gamers can expect impressive performance with 165 FPS gameplay in certain titles. Under the hood, the OnePlus 15 runs the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 paired with a dedicated touch response chip that enables 3200Hz touch sampling, along with a separate Wi-Fi chip for stable connectivity in crowded areas. For sustained performance, there is a new cryo velocity cooling system, which includes a massive vapor chamber, aerogel insulation, and a graphite back for even heat distribution. But then crazier is a 7300 mAh silicon nanostack battery that supports 120 watt wired charging and 50 watt wireless, promising 80% battery health after 4 years of use. It ships with Oxygen OS 16 based on Android 16 and carries multiple water and dust resistant rating from IP66, 68, 69, and 69K, making it one of the most durable flagships of the year considering its materials as well. I'm curious to know what you think about everything this phone brings in the comments. Now let's switch to Apple, as if you remember, the company was considering the possibility of a third-party provider for its AI model. Plan A was to use its own, but as things continued to get delayed, Plan B was to consider Google's Gemini, and we even heard rumors of a possible Perplexity acquisition, which was later debunked. Well, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, reports claim that the provider will be Google. Apple will apparently pay roughly $1 billion a year to use the 1.2 trillion parameter model, which vastly exceeds the size of Apple's current 150 billion parameter cloud models. I know, Google's already paying Apple close to that amount to be its primary search engine on Safari, so that's going to be an interesting mix. Gemini will handle complex tasks like multi-step planning summarization and other advanced query functions, while Apple's own models will continue powering some of Siri features. The AI will run on Apple's private cloud compute servers, so Google won't have access to any Apple data. Apple reportedly considered building the LLM version of Siri in-house and tested options from OpenAI and Anthropic, but chose Google after evaluating cost and performance. Despite the reliance on Google, Apple plans to transition to its own 1 trillion parameter model as soon as 2026 once its in-house model is ready, but then the timing is odd as the new Siri is expected for sometime next year. Curious to know what you think about all this in the comments. Now let's switch to both Samsung and Snapdragon as things continue to get interesting with the Galaxy S26 series. If you remember, the recent rumors claimed that Samsung would power most of its Galaxy S26 lineup with the new Exynos 2600 chip. There were some bold claims of all the new power and efficiency of its 2nm process. Here's the thing though, Qualcomm's latest comments suggest otherwise. During its Q4 earnings call, the company said it expected to supply processors for around 75% of Samsung's Galaxy S26 devices, which align with recent years. The company added that while the Galaxy S25 lineup was fully powered by Snapdragon chips, the new 75-25 split with Exynos is the new baseline for future flagships. Reports have praised the Exynos 2600 for its impressive early performance, but again, that's benchmarks, already outperforming Apple's A19 Pro and being 30% faster than Qualcomm's own Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. However, Qualcomm's statement implies Samsung may be pulled back from its plans to fully replace Snapdragon chips. With the Galaxy S26 expected to debut around February 2026, it won't be long before we find out where things are going to go. How much does this change matter to you? Let me know in the comments. Now, before we get to the hottest news, let me tell you about today's sponsor, MediaTek. Not sure if you saw some of the recent photos I posted on Instagram of the Oppo Find X9 Pro and its Hasselblad teleconverter. They are some of the best photos I've taken from any phone, and don't even get me started about its video capabilities. A lot of the legwork comes thanks to MediaTek's new Dimensity 9500. This is the company's third generation all-big core architecture, which enables some of the best performance you'll see from any flagship, now with AI enhancements in its 5G connectivity, Wi-Fi 7, gaming, and which includes photos and videos from its new Imagic 1190 ISP. It's the reason companies like Oppo trust MediaTek with its best experiences. Thank you to MediaTek for sponsoring this video. And finally, for the hottest news today, let's talk Apple and grab some popcorn, because yeah, there's a lot more. I've been covering a lot of what's coming with the iPhone 18 series, but it turns out the rumors were just scratching the surface. Let's begin with the iPhone Air. I mean, yeah, a single camera for $999 is a tough sell, but reports claim that even if the company will keep the device as thin as it is and lightweight in its design, it is adding an additional 48 megapixel ultra-wide camera to complement the existing 48 megapixel lens on the primer. But then here's the thing though, the layout may switch to a horizontal design instead of the vertical arrangement seen on the iPhone 17. So yeah, we are wondering if this means it won't bring spatial video even with its dual cameras. But wait, there's more. Reports claim that all Apple flagships in the iPhone 18 series, meaning the Pro, Pro Max, Air 2, and even the first foldable iPhone, will feature 24 megapixel front-facing cameras, up from the 18 megapixel center stage that we just got on the 17 devices. I mean, the immediate benefits is that now all cameras will produce 24 megapixel results, but given how the sensor is already a squared 24 megapixel module that crops 18 megapixels to your aspect ratio convenience, I'm wondering if this just means you're getting open gate functionality, meaning the full sensor readout. On the Fold though, it's a bigger deal, as reports claim that the 24 megapixel module will be under the inner display and covered like Samsung would do with the Z Fold, though again with a lot more megapixels. It's the first in the industry. The device is set to feature a dual lens 48 megapixel rear camera system, a punch hole outer display camera, and Touch ID integrated into the side button instead of Face ID. That said, we hear no LiDAR and no in-body stabilization in the cameras to stay compact, which I wonder how that's going to play. Then in the case of the Pro models, we hear Apple will also implement an HIAA technology, which means hole in active area, in order to reduce the size of the dynamic island. Additional upgrades include a variable aperture main lens, but now we also hear of a steel shell battery in the 18 Pro Max and the transparent ceramic shield for MagSafe, which I wonder how that's going to be. In today's question, let me know, which of these iPhones would you look forward to most? Because sure, in my case, of course I want the Fold, but that iPhone Air with 2 cameras is definitely tempting. I'm curious to know what you would like to see in the comments. Friends, thank you so much for joining on another episode of Tech Briefing. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments, as I'm sure you see me trying to respond to as many as I can. Also, follow me on social media as more behind-the-scenes work continues to happen there. By the way, our podcast with Josh is now live. Our show is called Technically There, and at this point, episode 2 is either live or about to be. We would really appreciate your support with a subscribe there as well, along with your feedback, as this show is built around you in mind. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.